Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I'm doing a good old-fashioned sketchbook tour. This is a sketchbook that I made. I have a video that I will link in the description box of how I did this, but basically I took a huge piece from my roll. I have a Strathmore 500 series mixed media roll of paper that's 100% cotton, and I cut a huge piece and I splashed watercolor all over it and folded it, cut it up, and I made a no-sewn sketchbook, and then I filled it. So the pens I used for this are the Pentel brush pen, the Rotring Isograph. This is the 0.3, I believe this is the fine brush, and the Posca Uni. This is white. This is the pin type, the 0.7 mm. It has the tiniest tip out of all of them. I tend to work smaller, so I like smaller nibs and tips and brushes and stuff. I will link these in the description box as well if you are interested in seeing what those are all about. Okay, I'm going to zoom in really quick so you can see some of the more detail stuff. So you can see here here's the isograph. I kind of did leaf portions and detailing in different areas. And basically this is just, here's the Posca, and I did this from August to September of this year. And then you can really see sort of the watercolor. This is Potter's Pink and an ultramarine. And I will link those watercolors that I used. This whole thing is just portraits. So I'll zoom back out again so you can see the double spreads. Basically, this sketchbook is just a study of shape, of repetition, its pattern. It's very high value contrast of the black ink on this white paper that has watercolor on it. And I'm zoomed in as I can be. You can kind of still see the leaf details in some areas, but I'm concentrating on shape on these faces. For artist burnout and artist block, I find that doing doodles and sort of mindless little shapes in repetition are a great way to sort of get out of the drawing funk. It's a great warm-up drawing exercise to figure out a doodle you really enjoy. I really like leaves. Flowers work well too. So do shapes. If you're just into like circles or spheres or, you know, concentric shapes, triangles, squares, whatever. There's tons of things you can do that sort of are a good exercise and a good warm-up. But sometimes for artist block, I find that turning my brain off and having something I can do in repetition while I listen to like an audiobook, and I kind of get into that drawing groove. And then from there, doing a doodle, I can move into more difficult, more time-consuming illustrations and drawings. And these were just really quick shapes. Like, how much do I have to show? How little do I have to show? Do you still get the idea that these are portraits? Is that still something that's being conveyed? Am I failing at it? Can you see expressions? Can you see what's going on? Some of these are a little wonky. I'm here for it. This was just a ton of fun. This was just a ton of fun. A lot of times in my sketchbooks, they're really time intensive. So 2 to 3 hours per page, and the pages could be as small as A6. This was not the case. This was a very quick, sketchy, how quick can I sort of convey things? Can I draw things? Does it work? Does it fall apart? I still have leaf doodles everywhere. Yeah. Portraits. Leaves. Here's sort of the back and the front of the other side. So this is sort of dual-sided. And this other side, I tried to make it a little bit different with more eyes closed. That way you can tell this is the other flip side of the sketchbook. I don't know. I don't know if this works. I don't know if this falls apart. I definitely see faces in portraits. They're very, very quick studies. Not everything has to be super long and lengthy. Sometimes just getting the point across, just getting the general idea can really help heighten and strengthen your sketching and drawing skills. Like doing a 5-minute study, a 10-minute study, a 20-minute study, just trying to figure out and piece apart which parts are the most important and which ones aren't. What can be in shadow and what can be shown. And different angles. You know, when doing portraiture, you don't have to do the exact face on. You can do a 3/4 view. You can do, you know, in profile. You can do from behind where you only see 1/4 of the face. There's tons of different ways to do this. This is just how I chose to. I have them going off the page. I have them connecting. This whole thing is just... it's a little strange. Some of these took me anywhere from 10 minutes to 5 minutes. I'm trying to think from start to finish illustrating how long this took me, and maybe 5 hours. This isn't a lengthy, it's not a lengthy sketchbook. Just really trying to figure out different ways to do eyes. I'm back at the beginning again, obviously. You can slow this down if you want to see things in more detail. Different studies of noses. Like, can I just draw little bits? Do you still get that there's a nose, that it's a piece? You don't necessarily get the nose ridge or the cheekbones. I'm losing all that information, basically, in these illustrations. So picking a shape and trying to denote. I did the same thing with different styles of lips, same things with eyes, like are there eyelids, are there eyebrows? Like, how do I show nose from a profile, and really breaking down the different important parts of the face. You could have a sketchbook solely of eyes. You could have a sketchbook just of noses and trying to figure out different pieces. I don't show the whole nose. Again, this is my exploration of how fast I can sort of get these things on here. How much hair do I show? I don't have any ears in here. That's another thing. If you want to just concentrate on certain parts of the face or the body that are difficult, I have a lot of trouble with feet from different angles. So I have a sketchbook that's older where I have foot illustrations, but just pieces. And I really, really love portraits. I think people have really beautiful, interesting faces. So these people are not all the same nationality. They're not all the same build. They don't have the same facial structure. You can look up face shapes if that's something you want to study individually, like oval versus circle versus heart-shaped faces, square jaws versus like clefts in the chin, dimples, where cheekbones are in relation to the face. Certain nationalities have higher cheekbones or more pronounced cheekbones. Think about eyebrow ridge and foreheads and different things like that. Different age groups. There's tons of ways you can do portraits. You can do faces. You can do people staring at you. And having little doodle elements is just a great way to... It fills the space. It fills the page. It's a little cohesion amongst all the different illustrations, but it's just a great way for me to do a warm-up drawing thing. Sometimes I have hand cramps, sometimes it's cold. I do draw every day, so the amount I need to do for a warm-up drawing exercise would be different than somebody that only draws once a month. But if you're suffering from burnout or you don't know what to draw, find yourself a little quick doodle. Again, leaves work. That is something you want to borrow from me or from someone else. I don't own this. It's not my thing. draw the leaves. Draw the leaves, draw branches, draw sticks. Find a shape that you feel comfortable with. It could just be tons and tons of hearts everywhere. It's a positive shape, it has great connotation, it's fairly easy to do, and you can just cover a page, you can color some in, you can spread it out, have borders, and then figure out some more complex illustrations within that, if that's something you want to do. This one kind of fell apart, and that's fine. We learn through things we don't care for. I'm hoping I'm learning. These were a ton of fun. And having some that connect in interesting ways. And again, the watercolor background, it's really unique to draw on a warbled, marbled colored page for me. That's not something I typically do. I typically just do plain white paper. I have on occasion done the Strathmore tone tan, the tone gray. I've filled a Hahnemühle cappuccino book. I'll throw up illustrations of all those. I think they have a gray one as well. So I don't typically do a lot of stuff over color, so it's really interesting to see how those end up on the faces, how the color slides over. Like, does that help the illustration at all? Does it take away from the illustration? Do you still see what I'm going for? Closed eyes are a little different. So I have a little bit of an eyelash there to help with that. But you're losing a lot of eye detail when you have closed eyes, and then you have to think about, does it denote sleeping, dreaming? Does it have a different connotation, maybe one you don't care for with closed eyes? But this was a lot of fun. A lot of experimenting, a lot of seeing what worked and didn't work. Shape of face, you know? Especially if you want to concentrate on something like profile, seeing how things line up. A lot of times, the lips can be reset, the chin can be bigger, the nose can have a little bump here, it can slope up. There are different ways you can shape all this and really denote different groups of people, which is a lot of fun. And smiling versus frowning if you want to work on expressions or silly faces. Like, there's so much you can do with portraiture, and there's so many different ways to do it, and there's so many different, you know, time frames you can use to dedicate to sort of include all the things you want to include. This is just how I chose to do this sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour. It was rather quick. Again, this wasn't something I spent a lot of time on, but that's really, really part of the exploration and the growth and the fun, is seeing what you can do with pattern and shape and repetition, and put that together in a sketchbook and really just work on quicker sketches. That's all this was. And I may make another one of these sketchbooks just because it was so much fun. And I didn't have to sew or stitch anything. Stitching paper isn't my favorite thing in the world. So being able to have a sketchbook that's unique and custom, this is a very custom shape. Let me get my ruler out here. All right, so this is about 10.5 inches by 7 3/4 inches. So this is a very unique shape, and I can customize this any way I want to with any color. So this is solely uniquely mine, and I can't blame anybody but myself. So I'll probably make another one. This was a fun size. And again, the portraits are done with the Pentel brush pen. And these, oh boy, I don't want to make a mess anywhere. These unscrew, and you can buy cartridges. You can also, see this sort of black? It's a plug, you can pull it out and you can pipette more ink in there if you have more ink, and these can be reused. It's a fun little pen. These are not light fast. I would not do anything permanent or a gift for somebody in these, but if you're doing just sketchbook studies like I've done here, or print reproduction products, this pen's fine. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.